this time.
Make it so.
It's me, Mario.
I'm Batman. Strong am I with the Force.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
You're a wizard, Harry.
And welcome to World War G episode 157. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ.
And I'm Colton.
Alright. So,
Nothing to it but to do it.
guess what we're going to start with?
A list.
Yeah, I was going to say, everybody all together? A list.
Oh, dang it. I missed
You
out.
missed it.
Oh,
So I was looking, like right when we started, I forgot that I didn't have a list. So I went to my list guy,
yeah.
and he said, "Oh, here's one for you." Since you're gonna be talking about Star Wars later.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry,
Jeez.
spoilers. I know. I'm sorry.
We're going to be talking. Oh, man.
18 humiliating roles that the cast of Star Wars wants you to forget.
Please tell me they were all pornos.
Yeah,
Please don't.
yeah. Don't tell me that.
That'd be hilarious.
I want to see the guy who played the Emperor. Number 18, Mark Hamill, the Guyver. 1 year before his debut voicing the Joker on Batman the Animated Series, Mark Hamill appeared in The Guyver, an extremely weird, loose adaptation of a Japanese manga series. It's about a guy who discovers a device that gives him a suit that makes him part alien, we think. Or maybe just the suit is an alien?
Mark?
Question mark? It isn't super clear in the movie, but that's not the relevant part. Hamill plays Max Reed, a CIA agent who helps the kid with the Power Rangers abilities. Then, near the end of the movie, Reed turns into a giant cockroach and dies.
Yeah.
Wasn't even because of anything anyone did. His body just didn't want to be a cockroach, and we don't blame it.
I didn't think cockroaches could die.
I thought, yeah.
Apparently. Number 17, Harrison Ford, Hollywood Homicide. I remember this one.
Unfortunately, I do as well.
Yeah. Harrison Ford, who plays Han Solo.
Played.
Yeah, no kidding.
R.I.P.
Played. Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Sorry.
Jeez. This is a spoiler-full episode here.
Has portrayed some of the most iconic characters in film. Besides the lovable scoundrel and smuggler, he was also Indiana Jones and Rick Deckard in Blade Runner. Unfortunately, his work in the 2003 buddy cop film Hollywood Homicide is the exact opposite. The problem isn't just the movie. Ostensibly a comedy, it's laughable for all the wrong reasons, though. It's also tough to watch because Ford and his co-star Josh Hartnett reportedly hated each other for most of the shoot, and the lack of chemistry bleeds into what we see on screen. This is one of those that I went and watched because it was the year we graduated from high school.
Yeah.
So I just had a
Time on your hands.
year to do nothing, so I saw like all the movies.
All the movies.
I saw all the movies. I saw the Wild Thornberrys movie by myself.
Oh, wow.
I would just go to the mall, to the Newgate Mall, and just be like, "What time is it? 11:15. What's playing? Wild Thornberrys. Great. I'll go see that." Like that's all the thought it was.
How would it be? You know.
Yeah, I work with people like that at my job.
You're
That
a true
is-
cinemaphile.
Yeah, I do have to. When I move to a new town, I have to go around and knock on people's doors and say, "Hi, I'm Troy. I'm a cinemaphile. Just letting you know."
They have an online
children,
database.
Had your wife.
They have an online database that you have to register in. And
Number 16, Daisy Ridley, Morrison's ad. The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi star Daisy Ridley started out about as far from flying the Millennium Falcon as one can get when she appeared in a 2012 ad for Morrison's, the fourth largest supermarket chain in the United Kingdom. It's not quite as cringe-inducing as Thor Ragnarok co-star Mark Ruffalo's Clearasil commercial, but few things on Earth are. Still, one of those little drive-by on Mark Ruffalo there.
Yeah.
Still, it's a little disheartening to see our favorite new Force user eating snacks in the middle of a grocery store like it's the best thing that's ever happened to her. However, we assume and hope it helped to pay the bills.
It probably was the best thing that happened to her at the time.
Probably. Number 15, Ewan McGregor, The Island. It's hard to believe, but the Star Wars prequel trilogy was not the most embarrassing work that Ewan McGregor ever had. We're giving that honor to director Michael Bay's 2005 film, The Island, a sci-fi action story about two clones escaping from the facility in which they have grown to serve as living organ banks for famous people.
I actually really liked this movie.
I did too.
Did you?
I thought it was pretty decent.
I mean, it was a long time ago that I saw it, and I was like 9, but I had a good time watching it.
Yeah. That movie completely passed me by. I never even heard of it until a couple years ago. Number 14, Ray Park. If you don't know, he was Darth Maul.
Say what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm saying for the civilians maybe listening.
Yeah. I've met him a couple of times.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
We met and had a conversation with him. Cool
Yeah.
guy. Ray Park, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. The original Mortal Kombat is an early success of video game movies because all it had to get right was having a bunch of people from the series fight and sometimes murder each other. It's better than it should be, and if you don't have the theme music stuck in your head right now, we'd love to know how that's possible.
Seriously, that's what I got, yeah.
Yeah. The sequel, Annihilation, is not as effective. It eliminates the tournament, and it has its combatants, spelled with a K, duking it out on a series of planets. One is covered with pools of water and dirt, because things weren't already awkward enough without two women mud wrestling. Ray Park, who was Darth Maul in The Phantom Menace, was the best and most underused part of that episode. Luckily for him, the two characters that he plays in both Star Wars and Mortal Kombat have their faces covered, so he can pretend that he was never part of this nonsense.
I really thought that they were going to say, like, it was because he was in G.I. Joe. But
Oh, yeah.
right?
Ooh. That first one was bad. The second one, yeah, had The Rock in it, so I can give it a little leeway. But yeah, they were bad. Number 13. Excuse me.
Never heard of that movie.
Just getting over a cold. Week-long cold. Thanks,
So he's passing it on to us.
Thanks, Inversion. Number 13. Warwick Davis. Leprechaun back to the THA Hood.
Oh, jeez.
A friend with weed is a friend indeed.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick an entry from a series about a killer leprechaun that includes an installment that takes place in space and uses a venereal disease as a plot point. However, we have to give it to Back to the Hood, which comes to movies after the Cosmic one and is itself a follow-up to the already pretty bad Leprechaun in the Hood that repeats neither the weird fun nor the self-awareness of its predecessor. Warwick Davis, who has played several Star Wars characters, including Wicket, the Ewok in Return of the Jedi, does what he can with the material. Unfortunately, what he has to work with includes killing a person with a bong and another character making leprechaun-slaying clover-infused bullets.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to see this movie.
I know. Number 12, Samuel L. Jackson, Sphere. Samuel L. Jackson plays Mace Windu in the Star Wars prequels, and while he's usually the most dynamic actor in any scene he's in, Windu is mostly just one more boring person sitting and talking. It's worse to be boring than All Out Bad, though, which was the same feeling we got in 1998's Sphere, which co-stars Jackson as part of a team of scientists investigating a mysterious alien artifact in a spaceship on the bottom of the ocean. It's based on a book by Jurassic Park writer Michael Crichton, but it's not one of his better ones.
When you've done that many movies, it's hard not to have like a couple bad ones, but yeah.
Well, and Samuel L. Jackson has said many times that he takes whatever part he's offered.
Yeah, he's like the
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Except, good.
Yeah.
Number 11, Max von Sydow, Judge Dredd. Now, if you don't know, Max von Sydow was the old guy in Force Awakens that Poe talked to in the beginning. Venerable and respected actor Max von Sydow appears in The Force Awakens, well, there you go, as Lor San Tekka, a character whose job in the plot is to deliver some exposition and then die tragically. It's a lot of characters' job in Star Wars. That was also his role in the fairly embarrassing 1995 film Judge Dredd. The earlier movie can't decide if it wants to be a zany comic book romp or a gruesome action film, and it doesn't do either particularly well.
I did like where he was stalling for time. That was pretty funny.
Spoilers.
Oh, man.
And this one, I don't agree with this one, by the way.
Ooh, I do. Hayden Christensen, number 10, Hayden Christensen, Jumper.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't like that movie at all.
It's like it's 2-1 on this one.
You guys have no imagination.
Oh, I have plenty of
Think of the
imagination.
possibilities, guys.
It had a cool premise. It was just poorly executed.
I like everything Hayden Christensen does. Jumper has a solid premise that should have worked.
Boom!
There we go.
Look at that.
Some people can teleport, and other people
You're looking to see if I even got it on my screen? No.
and other people want to kill them because reasons. Okay, so it's not the best setup, but it's good enough for a sci-fi action movie. Hayden Christensen's work as a young Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader was already pretty embarrassing, though we can't even blame him because all he had to work with were green screens, boxes indicating furniture, and a monologue about sand. However, Jumper is still a weird movie that goes for spectacle over the original novel's more grounded and human story. We don't really expect a mainstream movie about people with superpowers fighting a secret group sworn to kill them to end with everyone involved going to therapy like the book does, but the finale it comes up with is still pretty disappointing. Number 9, and this one I don't agree with personally, Benicio del Toro, The Wolfman.
It was okay.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Didn't like it. Oh, you're outnumbered.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
Taste my own medicine and it's bitter. Before Universal started its Dark Universe project this year and scrapped it after a single movie, it tried to resurrect its classic monster movies with 2010's The Wolfman, which cast The Last Jedi's Benicio del Toro as a titular lycanthrope.
Bless you.
Lycanthropy? Lycanthrope. Yeah.
Lycanthrope?
Lycanthrope. I had the wrong
Cadence.
the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. Del Toro is a big fan of the original, but the film suffered from production trouble. This included replacing original director Mark Romanek with Joe Johnston less than a month before filming was supposed to start. The setbacks affected the entire project, including relying on a computer-generated effects for the transformation scene, which makeup creator Rick Baker hoped would not be the case. Number 8, Anthony Daniels. I bought a vampire motorcycle.
What?
Again, that's I bought a vampire motorcycle.
All right.
The actor inside of C-3PO's Golden Shell plays a priest in this 1990 horror comedy about a killer set of wheels. He attempts to exorcise the evil from the eponymous murder bike, which gains sentience and a thirst for blood after a bad spirit enters it during a satanic rite. As you do. You can't take this premise seriously, and the movie sure doesn't. The motorcycle suffers from all the traditional vampire weaknesses, including crucifixes, garlic, and sunlight. None of this makes much sense, but even straight-faced horror movies sound completely absurd when they're described. Number 7, as soon as my computer says so, Christopher Lee, The Wicker Tree. And
Have you guys seen this one?
I've never seen The Wicker Tree.
I've seen The Wicker Man.
It's actually related to that. We know that legendary actor Christopher Lee, who played Count Dooku in the prequel movies, is no longer with us. However, we're pretty sure that if he were, he'd rather talk about his work in the Nicolas Cage-less 1973 version of The Wicker Man than its unfortunate 2011 sequel. Oh, never mind. It's not part of it. I read that wrong. The original's Lord Summerisle was reportedly Lee's favorite role, which is saying something considering the fact that he had 290 credits over a 70-year career. His appearance in The Wicker Tree is likely the same character, although he appears in one flashback scene, says some cryptic things, and then goes away. Number 6, Oscar Isaac. See, look at that. He looks like Gomez right there.
Yeah.
It really does.
Anyway, that's what's called a callback to a future story,
A call forward.
if you will. Number 6, Oscar Isaac, Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is the only film by Batman v Superman director Zack Snyder that isn't a remake or an adaptation. It's also mostly awful. The cast is probably the best part. It includes Poe Dameron actor Oscar Isaac as Blue Jones, who is both an orderly at a mental hospital in which protagonist Baby Doll finds herself imprisoned, and a gangster and a pimp in her escapist fantasies. He's a cookie-cutter bad guy who is so despicable that, when the police show up to arrest him at the end of the movie, he's trying to abuse a lobotomized female patient. That's great. Wonder why that film didn't do well.
Right?
Weird. Number 5.
They tried to go for an artsy look to it, kind of Sin City.
An artsy look to lobotomization.
And I think
No,
it was
okay.
too family friendly, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. But did you guys see it?
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I saw Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
And then after Sucker Punch, I asked myself, why did I see
You
Sucker Punch?
punched yourself.
In the crotch. Okay, here we go. Number 5, Peter Cushing, The Legend of the 7 Golden Vampires. Every successful franchise runs out of ideas eventually, and that's why movies like Jason X and Leprechaun Back to the Hood exist. Hammer's Dracula series fell into the slump in its 9th entry, a collaboration with the Shaw Brothers studio in Hong Kong. The Legend of the 7 Golden Vampires combines the traditional monster hunting story, as embodied by Cushing's Professor Van Helsing, with a kung fu movie, because Hammer had basically done everything else at that point. The actor who played Governor Tarkin in A New Hope gives it his all as always. It's interesting seeing him in a new Chinese setting, still stabbing undead foes with deadly sticks. While we're fine with a movie about kung fu vampire slayers, we're not sure that both work simultaneously.
It's kind of disappointing because you hear all these different great actors and stuff. Then they do these roles where they did what they could with it, but it just didn't work because the overall movie sucked.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, they're not going to get any notoriety or any fame unless you've got a solid movie and then you've got solid acting.
Yeah. Well, you know, in my Celebrity 10s video, youtube.com/celebrity10s, shameless plug.
Yeah.
And in my video about Patrick Stewart, he said he took a job because he needed renovations on his house.
Oh, wow.
And it was...
Was that an Emoji Movie?
No, that was long, long before that.
Well, shit.
Good. Number 4. Laura Dern. Any guesses? I think you can guess this one.
Oh.
Laura Dern.
What's her bucket? I know I should be able to guess this movie. What is it, Troy?
Jurassic Park 3.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We feel bad picking on another movie by the Wolfman director Joe Johnston, especially considering his important role in Star Wars history. He drew concept art for the first film, including the Millennium Falcon and the Blockade Runner that opens the movie.
This is where they're trying to build up him, a little bit.
Before
Yeah.
tearing him down.
Yeah.
He was also an art director on The Empire Strikes Back. However, Jurassic Park 3 is a mostly frustrating movie. Not the least because it brings back original characters Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler and then barely uses them. Laura Dern, who plays Sattler in the series, and Vice Admiral Emmeline Holdo, right? Holdo? Isn't that her? Yeah.
Yeah.
In The Last Jedi, is more or less there to pick up a check. She also provides a convenient exit for the heroes at the end of the movie, after they've done everything possible to get themselves killed and failed. Number 3. And I saw this movie somehow. I don't remember how. I
During
saw
that
it
year?
somewhere. Keira Knightley, Domino. Director Tony Scott's 2005 action movie Domino. Oh, I remember how I saw it. That's a story for another time. About real-life bounty hunter Domino Harvey is bafflingly bad. It's obnoxious, loud, contains 0 sympathetic characters other than Tom Waits, and everyone involved deserved better. That especially goes for lead actress Keira Knightley, who had previously appeared in The Phantom Menace as a decoy for Queen Amidala. The movie makes that one seem like a cinematic triumph in comparison.
Jeez.
Yeah. Number 2, James Earl Jones, Exorcist 2, The Heretic.
What?
I didn't even know this movie existed.
Yeah.
Few people outside Warner Brothers were clamoring for a sequel to the classic demonic possession film The Exorcist. And those who did certainly didn't ask for the one we got. The Heretic is a bizarre metaphysical hodgepodge that clings to familiar characters and imagery of its predecessor, sorry, my dentures fell out there for a second, while adding nothing to those elements but some weird science fiction about merging consciousness and providing a dumb name for the villain from the first movie. The spirit's name is Pazuzu, which immediately makes it about 60% less terrifying. James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader, appears as a previous host for the demon and a scientist who studies locusts. Like you do. This naturally leads to a scene in which he wears an insect-shaped headpiece and spits a tomato out of nowhere onto a bed of nails. This movie is instant insanity that crazy people... Sorry, that's... the movie is insanity that crazy people made. There we go.
You can still have a terrifying creature even if it's got a weird name. The Babadook.
Yeah, Babadook. Yeah, but I don't know. When you think of like a demon from hell, you don't think Pazuzu.
Bless you.
Yeah, exactly. Number 1. Everyone. The Star Wars Holiday Special. This is the most obvious choice we could have made, but the Star Wars Holiday Special is also one of the most confusing and miserable pieces of media in existence. We know it's bad because, in an alleged quotation from a convention, George Lucas said, "If I had the time and a sledgehammer, I would track down every copy of that show and smash it." This is the man who thought that what Return of the Jedi was missing in its theatrical version was a fully CG musical number. The holiday special was still somehow below his quality standards. Part variety show, part Wookiee domestic drama, and all terrible. This is a must-see for fans, if only to prove that worse Star Wars exists than the Clone Wars movie. It's an embarrassment to the franchise, television, and the cast members that it drags out to humiliate.
Have you seen it in its entirety?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
And it is bananas.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's...
The Wookiee drama is like...
yeah, I mean...
with his family.
I'm pretty sure the grandpa was watching porn at one point.
Yeah.
It seemed like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stormtroopers almost killed a Wookiee child. Several cast members have musical numbers.
Who can't carry a tune.
No. They put words to the Star Wars theme. B. Arthur is in it.
Which it's difficult not to hear when it's playing now.
Yeah. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube in its entirety, so you're welcome. The only good thing that the Star Wars Holiday Special did, that was the first appearance of Boba Fett.
Oh, okay.
Remember in that little weird animation that they cut to?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I think the Wookiee kid was watching cartoons about Luke Skywalker, and oh, my brain hurts.
It was very meta.
Yeah. And yeah, that was the first appearance of Boba Fett, so that's the only redeeming quality of that Bantha Poodoo.
But go watch it.
Yeah, but go watch it. I mean, it's worth the laugh that you'll inevitably get.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you go into it knowing it's terrible, it won't be so terrible.
Yeah, then you're fine. So, all right, let's take a break. And when we come back, we got the story that broke the internet. And we're talking about it.
So
I was expecting a
stay
little
tuned.
more enthusiasm,
Something clever.
but that's okay. We'll be back right after this.
Are you feeling nostalgic about your music listening needs?
Do you like the tonal quality that only a record can provide?
Then go check out Lavender Vinyl, located at 123 25th Street, Ogden, Utah.
Yeah, go talk to Kylie or Blake. They have a large selection of new and used records. They will also buy your old records, maybe the ones that are just sitting up there in the attic, gathering dust. And if you can't find anything, they'll be more than happy to pre-order it for you. Now, you can always find them at lavendervinyl@gmail.com. You can also check out their website, lavendervinyl.com, or give them a call on the phone, like a normal person, at 385-240-0336.
Be sure to tell them that World War G sent you. Now back to the episode.
And we're back. All right, so we have big news
Right.
since last we recorded. We've been hoping now since, at least, I don't know about you guys, for me, since 2008, or actually 2007, when Iron Man was first talked about becoming a movie. People started, talking about who else could be in these movies and everything, and they'd bring up like, oh, maybe Hulk could, or maybe this person could, or maybe Wolverine could, and people then realized that no, they couldn't, because Fox owns the rights to the X-Men, film rights to the X-Men, Fantastic Four and others. And so ever since then, we're thinking, wouldn't it be cool if, we used to say that about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Here he is. Well,
We saw all these crossovers with comics, but we never really saw these crossovers with movies.
exactly.
Yeah.
We looked at Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and thinking like, oh, wouldn't that be so cool if he could fight alongside, Robert Downey Jr. And,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Well, turns out Disney has acquired Fox for $52.4 billion with a B billion dollars.
Okay, I remember hearing that, and I thought when George Lucas got $4 billion for LucasArts, I thought that was like unheard of and astronomical, and then they made that back tenfold with The Force Awakens,
Yeah.
and paid for itself with all the everything, merchandise and whatnot. And now that I'm hearing this, that's insane. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that they have that kind of money to throw around.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'd be like, oh, how much you want for it? $52 billion? Yeah, no problem.
Chump change.
You want to check right now?
Yeah.
Walt Disney Company has announced the acquisition of 21st Century Fox for $52.4 billion in stock, while carving out some assets to be retained by Fox's stockholders. As part of the deal, Disney will assume $13.7 billion of net that Fox had on its books. Disney announced the deal Thursday morning, which would be pending final approval from each company's stockholders as well as government regulators.
Well, we're only sometimes looking from it from a nerdy perspective as far as these characters that they've acquired, but there's so much more that they've acquired. Like the Simpsons. Well, we were talking about quite a few of these ones earlier. Yeah.
Well, let me read this. And they go on to talk down the legal aspects of it, but specifically named in Disney's acquisition is the entertainment properties. Ready for this? X-Men,
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, Deadpool, Avatar, The Simpsons, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Hidden Figures, Gone Girl, The Shape of Water, and The Martian.
So right there, I mean, that's telling quite a bit what direction they're going with these movies, right?
Mhm.
And what they want to do another adaptations of.
Yeah.
And Deadpool is owned by Disney.
Deadpool is now owned by Disney. Under the deal, Disney would own Fox's film and television studios, cable entertainment networks such as FX channels, National Geographic, as well as its international TV businesses. As part of this deal, Disney would also assume Fox's 30% stake in Hulu, which, combined with Disney's own 30%, would give it majority control over the streaming service. The remainder is owned by Comcast and Time Warner.
Wow. Wait, didn't they already... Okay, Disney has already purchased a third in another company, right?
I don't know.
Streaming advertising, because that's what their plans were to do. We've talked about this.
Oh, they were
going to do their own.
Yeah, they were going to start their own. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that they own Hulu,
Maybe they're going to gut it and rebrand it?
right?
Maybe. Just prior to the acquisition agreement, Fox spun off the companies behind the channels such as Fox, Fox News, Fox Business, FS1, FS2, and the Big Ten Network back into a new, as yet unnamed company to be owned by Fox's shareholders and not acquired by Disney. So they kept their news channels.
And sports.
Yeah.
Which I'm perfectly fine with. And as long as Disney just kind of takes a back seat, I would hate constantly having, these Disney big wigs sitting in the back saying, no, you can't go this direction. No, we want to do this. We want to, just let them do what they're already doing because they're making you money,
Right, yeah. So then it kind of goes on, talks about how much shareholders get and blah, 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 blah.
Why aren't we buying stock in Disney, guys?
Right.
Right? I know, I looked at it just the other day. It's like it was $114, but now after this deal, it's probably gone up.
Probably.
But they've also probably made more shares. So, who knows?
Well, wait a little while. We'll probably be working for Disney eventually.
Yeah. Disney bought the podcast. Yeah.
Yes.
Has some Disney money here.
Hey, I'm totally for that.
Yeah.
If they want to buy it and try to cater it more to talk about Disney stuff, great.
Fine by you. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay.
So, Disney, if you're listening, take note.
I know you are Disney.
Yeah.
And really anybody who wants to buy the podcast. I'm
$25.
We'll take anything.
Wait, no, seriously.
I'm a free market capitalist, baby.
I know it's priceless for us, but what would we put the podcast at? If we're sharing, selling stocks.
I mean, they'd be penny stocks.
Oh.
To be perfectly blunt about it. Yeah.
Then you'd have one person in the back room that's just like, I will bid $300. And you're like, oh.
Sold. That's $100 for each of us.
Done.
So you really gave up your morals for $100? Yes, I did.
I'll do unforgivable things for $1.
But I mean, this is pretty cool. Disney now also owns Aliens, Predators, Simpsons.
Yeah.
I mean,
the world.
So the
world,
pretty much.
The Avatar that they reference, is that the James Cameron Avatar, or is that Avatar The Last Airbender?
I think it's James Cameron Avatar.
Are they still doing a second one?
They are.
They're doing like 5 more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are going to make a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
I know you said you didn't really like it that much, right?
No, I didn't.
I didn't much care for. I mean, it was all right.
Visually, it was awesome.
Yes. I mean, I saw it just like everybody else in the world.
And
did you go back and see it in 3D?
No.
That's the only movie that I do not regret seeing in 3D. It was amazing.
Really?
If they ever
mind changing,
if they ever take it back into theaters in 3D, you should totally do it.
Yeah. Or did I? Did I see it in 3D?
You would remember.
When did that come out? That might have been my last year.
That was like 2010.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know.
life changing. Colton, he's never been the same since seeing that.
It's true.
Okay. And there's been a bunch of other stories that have come out.
Broke this down, yeah.
As far as this whole deal goes. Disney CEO confirms X-Men and Fantastic Four will join the MCU.
Oh.
Yeah. It's happening.
X-Men will be nice. I think that Fantastic Four is cursed, though.
I still think I have hope that it can be done.
I mean, look what they did with characters like Guardians of the Galaxy, for crying out loud. If they can make those characters work, they can make the Fantastic Four work.
I don't know. I think there's still some sort of black magic going on with those Fantastic Four films.
I have all the faith in the world in the MCU at this point.
Same here.
Ooh, if they do one and they meet the Avengers,
yeah,
and Captain America is still alive, if he meets the Human Torch, they need to do some stuff with that. That would be funny.
Disney CEO Bob Iger has confirmed that the X-Men, Deadpool, and Fantastic Four will be joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe, aka the MCU. As previously reported, Disney's much-anticipated acquisition of 21st Century Fox has finally been confirmed, with the Mouse House shelling out billions for a sizable chunk of Rupert Murdoch's television and film assets. This essentially means that any properties that previously belonged to Fox are now in the hands of Disney. And crucially for fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that includes both X-Men and Fantastic Four franchises. Prior to the advent of the MCU, Marvel sold off a number of its key characters to other studios, including Spider-Man, X-Men, and Fantastic Four. This prevented any of the associated superheroes appearing in Marvel's own big screen output. In 2015, however, Marvel Studios reached an agreement with Sony to bring Spidey back into the fold, resulting in the Web-Slinger's appearance in Captain America's Civil War and a solo movie, Spider-Man Homecoming.
Do you think that this changed I guess Fox has seen what they've done with this, so they're more eager to get on board. But do you think this actually changed the direction and shape of the MCU as we know it?
Oh, yeah.
By not having these guys in there?
I'm sure it did.
It probably forced them to go more outer space with Guardians of the Galaxy and more magical with Doctor Strange, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure this threw a complete curveball into, the people that were planning these movies, because they planned them out for, I think the next, 20 movies are planned.
Right.
So all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay.
Well, we can't do that story because these people are involved. Well, we can't do this one.
We have X-Men and Fantastic Four now. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board and let's rethink this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm betting that this next Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, Disney will be there, and I bet they will
lay out the direction.
Lay out, movies lay out, say, oh, here's next movie's coming to be X-Men or something, or Avengers versus X-Men, or which would
be amazing.
Melt my brain. Yeah.
Some good old A versus X.
Yeah. Really quick though, speaking of San Diego Comic-Con, I'll mention this real quick.
Yeah.
So, if you don't know, if you haven't listened for too long, we live in Utah. And here in Utah, we have our own comic book convention, Salt Lake Comic-Con, or as it's now called, Salt Lake Comic Convention.
Right.
We've had it now for 4 or 5 years. 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It started in 2012. Yeah. And we've talked about it at length on the podcast. We've been there. We've done a lot with them. And
they had that lawsuit.
Yes.
That finally went to court. And
it was a lawsuit with San Diego Comic-Con.
Correct. That they had the rights. They didn't technically have they didn't patent it when they created it, but now that it's gotten so big and all these other places are utilizing Comic-Con or throwing Comic-Con at the end of theirs, they decided to pick on Utah because it's doing so well.
Because we're kind of a threat, and we're big, and we're very close to them. And so it feels like they're kind of... They see it as we're splitting the market.
Mm-hmm. Which was
ridiculous.
So for punitive damages, they did try to sue Salt Lake Comic Con for 12 million with an M.
Yes.
And they only got 20,000.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think Salt Lake Comic Convention has that, Disney money or anything, but
I think they'll be all right.
they'll be fine.
Yeah.
It was just so petty.
And
we've mentioned this lawsuit before on the podcast. It was just so, it was dumb.
I don't think it's really going to change anything.
It won't.
Yeah.
Just a name.
Well, and 20,000 is literally nothing to Salt Lake Comic Convention. If it's anything like conventions that I've been to for my day job, like when we go down to Arizona and we pay for a booth to set up for customers, it literally costs $10,000 for us to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that any booth that's at Comic-Con is paying similar money, if not more, for the notoriety.
So 2 booths, you got it covered.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That or one big celebrity, or decent name celebrity.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they made $20,000 like in the first couple hours of the first day, So I mean,
ticket sales? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's no big deal. But it was, we've just kind of been following that and I don't know about you, but I'm friends with Brian Brandenburg and Dan Farr on Facebook, and so, kind of been seeing what's happening there. Anyway,
drop her.
Just want to bring that up. Yeah, you want to pick up those names I dropped if you don't mind? I need to put them back in my pocket for later.
We did give him a card. Still pretty sweet.
Here's a weird thing though. Going back to this whole Disney and Fox buyout thing. Senators call for investigation into Disney Fox buyout. Top members of the House and Senate antitrust subcommittees have called for an investigation into Disney's proposed buyout of 20th Century Fox, citing anti-monopoly laws, according to Variety. Apparently, now because they have both Boardwalk and Park Place, they're very upset.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
I do.
Ranking Senate Antitrust Subcommittee member Senator Amy Klobuchar?
Sounds right.
Klobuchar. Democrat of Minnesota. And Ranking House Antitrust Subcommittee member Representative David Cicilline have asked the representative committees to conduct an investigation into the proposed deal. Klobuchar called the buyout, quote, another industry-changing merger which would have major implications in the television, film, and media, end quote, saying, again, I'm concerned about the impact of this transaction on American consumers. Disney's proposed purchase of 21st Century Fox threatens to put control of TV, movie, and news content into the hands of a single media giant. If it's approved, this merger could allow Disney to limit to limit what consumers can watch and increase their cable bills.
That's
Disney,
net neutrality.
Disney will gain more than 300 channels, 200 regional sports networks, control over Hulu, and a significant portion of Roku. Cicilline added the country, quote, is in a monopoly moment. So, there you go.
If you got the money, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you got the money and both parties agree, I don't see how that's any anti-monopoly anything.
Yeah.
I mean, if all the legal stuff is worked out, then oh well, nothing you can do about it, right. Senator. Sorry. Yeah. But going back, geeks around the world are cheering at this point because
we actually just heard a couple right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool thing, we got the X-Men back in the right hands, they're going to be in the MCU. Mm-hmm. As much as I don't really like it, Deadpool is going to be in the MCU. Fantastic Four. I mean, it's cool. the future is going to be awesome with these movies.
Yeah, although they're gonna have to. I think they need to completely revamp, because the one thing that I didn't much care for about the X-Men movies is they started to go the way of like Terminator and some of these other franchises where they become so convoluted and you can't figure out where the storyline is, and it's all like, oh, but these happened before this one and this one happens here. I don't know. So I think they really just need to, with some of these franchises, just start fresh.
Yeah.
You know, there's before Disney, and then there's AD, you know.
After Disney?
Yeah.
BD and AD.
Yep.
All right. However, just one last little thing. I did hear that a lot of Hollywood is upset by this. They do not like this. Because not only did it put a lot of people out of work, and people lost a lot of jobs, Disney now owns, what they say, 27 or 25% of all movies that will be in theaters will be Disney.
That's so crazy. That's ridiculous.
And so they're not too happy about that. But
well, if they probably already, you know, pushed them off and said, "Hey, I don't need to work for Disney, whatever. Like I'm perfectly fine." Oh yeah, well we just bought Fox.
Yeah. I mean, and what are these other studios going to do? I mean, who can compete with that?
Yeah.
Nobody at this point.
They're going to have to create an associate. Okay, well, what they have here, at least in the state of Utah, is Associated Foods, where all these smaller single businesses get together and kind of form their own thing. So I'm thinking like all these other studios form their, you know, come together. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's a way to handle it.
They'll be like the rebellion taking on the empire.
Yeah.
Oh, spoilers. Much. Sorry. Spoilers.
Again.
Dang it.
Again with the spoilers.
Keep doing it. All right. So let's take another break. And when we come back, we might have some more stories for you. We might not. We're going to talk about it.
Who knows?
When we come back, and if we have more news, then you know that we decided to do.
We're going to rock, paper, scissors it out.
We'll be just as surprised as you. We'll be back right after this.
We'll be right back.
On the historic streets of Ogden, there are two kinds of people, readers and non-readers. Here's where you can find their stories.
Booked on 25th Street, located at 147 Historic 25th Street, Ogden, Utah, 84401.
Yeah, stop by and say hi to our friend Marcy. You can pick up a new or used book, or you can sell your own used books.
That's right, you can get 10% store credit on what they can sell the book for.
Stop in and say hi, or call them at 801-529-7720. You can find them on Facebook at facebook.com/bookedon25th, or you can email them at marcy@bookedon25th.com, or visit their website, bookedon25th.com.
Be sure to tell them that World War G sent you. Now back to the episode.
And we're back. Okay.
After coming to a consensus, we decided to shorten the stories and give the short but sweet version of it.
Yeah, we've kind of trimmed the fat a little bit and decided on a couple stories that we're going to talk about. For example, Nintendo Switch has sold 10 million units in less than a year. The Nintendo Switch has sold 10 million units worldwide as of December 12th, 2017. Originally released on March 3rd, 2017, the Switch boasted a unique design that allowed it to be played at home, attached to a television, or on the go as a tablet. Another benefit was that, unlike Nintendo's more recent consoles, the Switch came bundled with 2 controllers, allowing friends and family to play together immediately. By releasing their new system in early March, Nintendo defied convention. Traditionally, new video game systems were released to coincide with the holiday shopping season. Nintendo main competitors, Sony and Microsoft, released their most recent game consoles, the PS4 and Xbox One, on November 15th, 2013 and November 22nd, 2013, respectively. Nintendo's last console, the Wii U, was released 1 year earlier on November 18th, 2012.
Thanks in large part to Zelda and now Mario, Mario Odyssey, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Those are their big sellers.
Mario Odyssey is huge.
Oh yeah,
It's a massive game. I would like to get a Nintendo Switch just to play that game. It looks
yeah. I would have.
fun.
I almost for Zelda. I would.
Yeah.
I would. The only thing is all the components and everything seem so cheap and a little bit flimsy, right? When you keep putting, after so many times that you keep putting it back into its lock it into place.
Gets
Yeah.
the scrapes on the screen.
Yeah,
and stuff
right.
Like that.
And even those little teeny controllers, they don't seem as beefy as like an Xbox or a PS4 kind of controller.
yeah. When you and I were playing it at Gaming Con,
Yeah.
when we could actually figure out what the heck to do because we're old men apparently. It felt really small and really awkward to control.
Even the little thumb pad, seemed pretty flimsy. I played Mario Kart or Mario 8 with my brother on his,
Yeah.
and you're just playing with this little teeny controller. You turn it sideways, and it was fun and all, but it was even difficult to kind of drift
Yeah.
or to do anything else with it because it's so dang tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, good news for Nintendo. I mean, they're kind of back in business there,
Right.
Actually making a mark.
And I'm still waiting to receive mine for anyone who may be listening.
Me too. Hey, Nintendo,
Yeah.
we know you're listening,
Right?
just like Disney. Hey, send us a couple, or send us one.
We'll review it.
We'll review it. We'll give you high praise, and everybody will be good.
I couldn't ask for anything more.
And who doesn't want high praise from a mediocre podcast?
I know. All however many of our listeners.
Oh,
Millions.
yes. Let's say that.
There are literally dozens of us.
So, this week, Oscar Isaac, Poe Dameron, had a much bigger role in Star Wars The Last Jedi, as he spoilers.
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 As he tries to protect the galaxy from the First Order and keep resistance intact. But now there's talk that Isaac may settle down as the head of a creepy and kooky family of misfits, the Addams family. According to Tracking Board, Isaac is in negotiation to voice Gomez Addams in the upcoming Addams Family animated movie.
He's only gonna voice. Oh, I thought it was gonna be live action.
No.
That's disappointing.
Right?
He looks just like him. Why would you voice him? He doesn't sound like him. He looks like him.
Right?
That's disappointing. Continue.
Considering that Gomez acts like the debonair Latin lover, Isaac seems like an ideal choice to follow in the footsteps of John Astin's original portrayal of the character from the first Addams Family TV series. We also think that Isaac would be a worthy successor to Raul Julia, who played Gomez in the 2 live-action movies. Cartoonist Charles Addams created. It's kind of funny. His name is even Addams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Charles Addams, creator of the Addams Family, in a popular series of comic strips for the New Yorker. However, Gomez didn't have a name and even a defined persona until Astin was invited to help shape the character on the show. Julia took those elements even further in the films and made Gomez into a larger-than-life figure while maintaining his devotion to his wife and children. If Isaac does play the part, we're very eager to see what he does with it. It's actually directed by, Cord Venner. He did co-director of Sausage Party, which, yeah, right, I know. And it doesn't have a release date as of yet. The script, however, was done by Pamela Peddle, Corpse Bride, and Monster House, so that's kind of a little more hopeful.
Yeah, good writing, that's for sure. I'm so disappointed that he's just voicing him.
Right? Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, I think he'll still do perfectly fine. And it's kind of cool that we've already talked about TMNT, the new direction they're going to is with cartoon, right?
Yep.
So, or their next movie is going to be animated. So it makes perfect sense that they're going to do an animated Addams Family and some of these other ones.
Because I've wanted Addams Family to come back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just watched the second Addams Family Values, just like a month ago. And it's fantastic. Both those movies are great. And I was like, why hasn't anybody done anything with this property?
Yeah.
It's just sitting there. Somebody, you know,
waiting for Disney to buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that's around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charles Addams, actually friends with Stan Lee.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They served in the military together.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You're like, fun fact.
Fun fact.
Charles Addams, 10. No.
You can find out my Stan Lee Celebrity 10s video.
I thought you were going to say Charles Addams.
No, here's the thing. As I keep going with those videos, that's going to happen more and more, so.
Oh, no, I'm all for it if those videos start helping increase the numbers over here.
Right. Tie everything together.
Yeah.
All right. So, here's what we're going to do.
We're going to play round robin with these movies.
Yes, we are at this point about a week out from Christmas. And seeing that this episode is our Christmas adjacent episode,
it makes perfect sense to have Christmas adjacent movies.
Yeah. We thought it'd be fun to talk about some movies where Christmas is in them, but it's not the focus.
Or it takes place on Christmas.
Yeah.
Or during the span
of December.
The holiday season.
Yeah. But they don't focus on it. It's
or sometimes
not
even reference it at all.
Yeah. It's just there. So I'll go first. My movie that I didn't even realize took place at Christmas till I watched it again just recently, Jurassic World. And the only reason I know it took place at Christmas is because if you watch the beginning of the film, when you see the family's house, it's winter, it's snowing, and Christmas music is playing as they're pulling away and they're in the airport getting ready to leave. And that's it. That's the last time they reference it. That's the last time it's even mentioned. And so presumably Jurassic World takes place over Christmas, which is why it's so populated that day, which is why it's so busy on the island, is because it's Christmas break.
That does make a lot more sense.
That's crazy that they add that little detail that nobody even notices until later on.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, why even add that in?
Well, okay, the reason that they probably added it in is because so many people, I know my family, they're already planning on seeing a movie on Christmas Day. You know, people want to be entertained on that day, so what better attraction than to see dinosaurs?
And that's fine. I mean, but you can set it in like the summer, or you know, or just a normal day.
Or maybe it's just another way to have the movie connect with your audience, because they're going to see this movie around Christmas, and so they're watching the movie. They see something Christmas related, and they're like, "Hey, that's happening right now."
I suppose that's true. That could be. It was just weird. It was a weird detail
that they just threw in there.
Yeah.
They don't really explain it either.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my first one.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll do Iron Man 3.
Okay.
Which there's not really any indication. I think that you see Christmas lights. You know, when he's hanging out with that boy after he, is injured or whatever. Well, first of all, he lands in snow. And it's snowy all over the place.
Right.
I think I'm trying to remember from the last time I saw it. I should have just watched it again recently to verify this. But I think that I saw Christmas lights around somewhere. But that's the only reference to it being winter or Christmassy in the entire film.
Yeah.
But I thought that was pretty neat.
All right.
My first one's going to be Die Hard. This one's a little bit more obvious of a choice,
classic,
right?
Yep.
Takes place. He goes to this Christmas party, and all hell breaks loose, which is pretty dang. I mean, it's one of my favorites. I love the whole series. I know they keep getting like more and more over the top, but this one's pretty. I don't know, for the most part, kind of grounded a little bit. Some of the scenes that when he runs across the glass, he actually does get hurt, and he's not invincible. And even like towards the very end, when he saves everybody, he still has to bust back in. I mean, he jumps off the building, swings in, and then the thing that saves his life, is also trying to kill him now. That whole reel falls down off the skyscraper.
Yeah.
And he barely escapes. I don't know. It's just one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, and it's been one of those movies that people argue is a Christmas movie or isn't a Christmas movie. Most people say it is, because it's referenced very briefly that it's actually the Christmas holiday. And
yeah.
I think number 2 takes place over Christmas too, doesn't it?
In an airport?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, he has bad luck.
He does.
I think that people need to understand that just because they say Christmas doesn't make it a Christmas anything. Like that one song by Wham, Last Christmas. That is not a Christmas song. It is a love song that says the word Christmas in it.
That is my beef with the Peanuts theme.
Mm-hmm.
They played it. It's not a Christmas song. It's the Peanuts theme. Just because
they have a Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Or a movie, not episode.
Yeah, it bugs me.
Well, when they play the Christmas one, like there's certain songs from the Peanuts Christmas movie. Yeah, that makes more sense. But the theme song,
they play the theme song.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know how, radios will play like 24 hours Christmas.
Yeah.
And they play that song. It's like, it's not a Christmas song. Okay. My second one is a bit more obvious because they reference Christmas a couple times. Batman Returns. With Michael Keaton. This time we have Danny DeVito as the Penguin. And Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. And Christmas is mentioned a couple times because a big plot point is... Or one big plot point. One of the things that happen is the lighting of the Christmas tree. And Wayne Manor's decorated...
Oh, to the nines.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
For Christmas. And that's pretty much it.
Presents?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Is there a Santa Claus reference in? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. But yeah, that's it. And again, it's such a weird choice to make it take place over Christmas. It's just, I don't know. Maybe there's something, a good feeling about a movie that takes place in Christmas, or I don't know.
Maybe it's all about merchandising. Now you can
be.
sell it as a Christmas movie during the holidays.
That's probably exactly what it is.
Well, like that's why there's so many music artists that make Christmas albums.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mariah Carey, she makes so much money off of her Christmas album
every
single year, and she will for the rest of time.
Yes.
So they're hoping that people will watch it around this time,
or buy it,
or consider it a Christmas movie, so they'll add it to their Christmas arsenal that they watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Perhaps that, or I think that it changes it up a little bit. You have a lot of movies that are set in the summer, and there's not really anything in particular. If you're setting it on a holiday, you've already got different dynamics and different things that you can add in, right? I don't know, just more to work with. When some of these movies that we're talking about, a lot of them do have a lot to work with, but this is just one extra additional point.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, my second movie is Edward Scissorhands, and I don't think that there's only a couple times in the entire movie that Christmas is even referenced, and I know that it takes place over Christmas because Peg, I think that's who she is, the person who takes him in.
The mom.
The mom, yeah. She said the whole plot is based around her explaining to him why it snows on Christmas. Mm. So that's all I got on that one. Great movie, though.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And ironically, last Christmas, while I was setting up my Christmas tree, I watched Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, wow. So it's continuing to make money. Continuing the cycle.
Yep.
Lethal Weapon is going to be my other choice. Man, I'm detecting a theme with my movies here.
By the way, Iron Man 3 and Lethal Weapon, both directed by Shane Black.
Yeah?
Yep, same guy.
This one, it's still, it's not thrown in your face. They do have a couple of, like, lines where they're mentioning it, but for the most part, it's not, like, a key focal point. I do, however, want to also, like, bring up, have you guys ever seen the TV show Lethal Weapon that they've done?
No, not yet.
With Murtaugh and Rick. No, it's actually really well done. Like, it's pretty, yeah.
It's really successful.
Yeah, it's going to continue for quite some time. But
I should probably, before I do that, see the Die Hard movie or the Lethal Weapon movies.
You've never ever watched them before? Really?
No.
Oh wow! Wait, and you were on that huge like '80s kick.
I know.
Yeah,
but
now you're getting too old for them.
Hey.
That reference?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't catch that at all. I recommend the movie. Didn't catch the reference.
All right. My third and last one, I completely forgot about this. Freaking Rocky IV takes place over Christmas. Yeah. This is from Wikipedia. Enraged by guilt and the Russians' cold indifference, Rocky challenges Drago himself. Drago's camp agrees to an unsanctioned 15-round fight in the Soviet Union on Christmas Day.
Of course they'd pick Christmas. They don't care. They've got nothing else going on.
I think that's the only reference to Christmas.
Yeah?
I think maybe at the beginning they may have had a couple presents or something, or I think there was a robot at one point. I don't know. Joel, if you're listening, you'll correct me. He loves those movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's... Yeah, I completely forgot it takes place anywhere. The Christmas is even mentioned in any Rocky movie.
But sure enough.
But then there again, why set it at Christmas?
Yeah.
You could set it any other time, any other day. I don't understand. Halloween. Easter. Flag Day. Doesn't matter. It's just why
Independence Day would have made more sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that.
It was
because then it's like, then you're not only, I mean, you've got that pride is on the line to win, but then there's also the pride of the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have made. Anyway.
Okay, so for my third one,
yes.
I told you guys about my memory watching snippets of The Godfather with him, or with my dad.
With him.
With him. And just remembering a scene of, I said a lady carrying Christmas presents.
Yeah.
But it was actually Al Pacino carrying Christmas presents. And I'm assuming this was in the beginning of the movie because it's before everything falls apart.
I'm going to say Al Pacino's younger days. He was a very pretty man.
He's beautiful. But, I mean, they're obviously Christmas presents that he's carrying, so I would assume that it was around that time, too.
Yeah.
That's really the only, that I can think of. That's the only really reference that they make to it. I mean...
I don't know. I haven't seen that either, so...
I need to just make a list of all the movies that none of us have ever seen.
Yeah.
That is, must-have pop culture reference.
That could be, our list.
And watch them. Maybe when we're done with all the Marvel movies, we could just do that.
Yeah.
All right.
We can talk about it.
Yeah.
That's a no.
Yeah.
No, I just don't want to discuss it here and now.
Right, yeah.
This podcast is a democracy. It's not a dictatorship.
I'm actually being chained. Yeah, I agree. Troy, don't hurt me. Don't beat me.
Shut up and agree.
There's a gun to our head.
Exactly.
Diddy Mow.
Tell my sister I love her.
Tell my story. My last and final one, but before I reveal this one, I've actually got Christmas presents for you guys.
What?
What? Right? I know.
Looks like a body bag, Troy. Let's rush.
Run. Make a run for it. Okay, I suck at decorating, or even wrapping presents. So I'll just pull them out. Well, okay.
This is very exciting. I completely forgot you even brought in a bag.
Right? It's not. It doesn't have my body.
What do we got?
There you go.
What?
So it's you're gonna really love this comic book, which they're coming out with a second one, a volume 2. It's fantastic. It's definitely darker and right up your alley as far as what you like. And then I thought for your family, I don't know if you guys already own that or not.
No, we don't.
The
We don't
Force
buy DVDs
Awakens?
anymore, and this is amazing because
Yeah, it's on Blu-ray too.
yeah, we have a Blu-ray player that we never use.
Wow! Thanks,
awesome.
mister!
So I thought Joni would appreciate Yonder. It's fantastic. She'll love this. It's kind of like one of those Animal Crossing. I mean, you have to go collect animals and bring them back and build a farm. And it's kind of a huge time killer, but awesome. And it looks kind of like Studio Ghibli, like some of their stuff.
Yeah, it does.
Miyazaki-esque.
Oh, that's cool.
And then, yeah.
And then Batman: The Long Halloween.
Dude, speaking of Halloween, of holidays and whatnot. No,
Yeah.
this one's fantastic because it's the one that I've got myself. It doesn't even have it. It's different, like the art style. They did it colored. They went through and did it in
did
color.
they?
Correct. Yeah, from the original. Even if you compare, yeah, there's definitely a difference.
No, yeah, you're right. It is different. Huh. Well, that's cool.
Well, there you go.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, now I feel bad. I didn't get you anything. We should make this a podcast tradition. Every Christmas episode, have Christmas gifts for each other.
Do you like a white elephant?
Well, we can discuss it after.
Yeah, we can.
That's a no.
Okay, so my third and final movie that I had to pick, The Gremlins.
Yes.
Classic.
You know, no bright lights, don't get them wet, and don't feed them after midnight, no matter what they say, if they beg, whatever.
Yeah.
This one, we were talking about this actually before the episode. It really doesn't matter that it was set in Christmas. It could have been, like you said,
if you exchange Christmas for a birthday, then the story doesn't change.
It's the exact same. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because he does get them as a gift, but I still love the movie.
And there is that one scene where she talks about her dad dying in the chimney,
Yeah.
dressed as Santa Claus, which as a kid
That was horrifying.
was disturbing.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the things I remember of that film. I've never been able to forget it. He slips and falls and breaks his neck, and then there's a smell coming from the house, and the police pull out his mangled, dead, rotting corpse out of the chimney.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
Sticks with you.
Classic Christmas.
Right. Well, there you have it.
And then on Facebook, Jacob Booth agreed with you because we asked for suggestions for Christmas adjacent movies. And he says the classic Christmas movie everybody knows and loves, Die Hard.
Oh, absolutely.
So, all right. Let's take our third and final break. And we come back. We got some movie reviews, including Star Wars.
With no spoilers.
Yes, spoiler free. So don't shut it off. Continue to listen, please.
Please?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Thanks, Troy. Hi, everybody. This is Sean Ray.
And John Irons.
And we're the hosts of Cosmic Potato, the Super Fan Talk podcast. We're a show that has a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we talk about movies and TV and cartoons, entertainment news, and every show has a different theme.
That's right. We might discuss anything from our favorite bad movies to who would win in a fight between C-3PO and the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. That was episode 41, a classic. You can download that episode and all of our other episodes on iTunes and Stitcher. We're on Podcast Addict and, of course, on our website, cosmicpotato.com.
It's special guests and movie news and geeky nerddom and nerdy geekery and lightsabers and Time Lords and Ninja Turtles all the way down. So check out Cosmic Potato, the Super Fan Talk podcast.
Hey, guess what? We're back.
What?
All right, so
I wanted to quickly do this.
Yeah.
Last episode we did Rotten Tomatoes, and I had to guess whether it was higher or lower. And like for the most part, I thought
And
they did like
surprisingly well.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So where are you thinking Star Wars: The Last Jedi is at Rotten Tomatoes wise?
Now I know, I know the audience score,
Which is what?
I believe last time I checked, it was like at 53%.
56. Yeah. Yeah. Critics. Summon your inner critic.
About
Through Marvel
cinematography, story.
Through Marvel tinted glasses. Just saying.
I see everything through Marvel tinted glasses. I know it's certified fresh, so I'm gonna say 77.
Ooh, higher.
Really?
Yeah. Much.
92.
93.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
That's high. That's really high.
I'm telling you, Marvel tinted glasses.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't believe the user score.
Yeah.
I can't believe 1 out of 2 people did not like the movie. That's basically what that means.
I like the pause. I'm sorry. I like the pause.
I told you I can't do math fast. I'm not AJ.
50%.
2 plus 2.
Wait.
You're like, quickly, let me borrow your toes. That is pretty surprising that only like half the people enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Considering how many people clapped at the end when I saw it.
Yeah, I saw you out there. You all clapped.
Well, we'll get into Star Wars, but first,
speaking of, okay, I wanted to make sure that you didn't have rose tinted glasses on or any type of marble tinted glasses when it came to Coco. So I had to see Coco for myself. And I'll have to say, it was fantastic.
It's really good.
The music was great, the story was awesome, and visually, it was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coco, it did okay here. I don't think it's been Pixar's biggest opening.
But Mexico, man, it broke box office
biggest movie
numbers
of all time.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Mexico. Yeah.
But, okay, it was also, like, plastered everywhere. They had signs posted everywhere for it.
But, I mean, white people here, they're scared of brown people, so they're like, oh, takes place in Mexico. I don't know.
They did go see it because they wanted to see the Frozen short.
Yeah,
beforehand.
which is gone.
Yeah.
It's gone from my theater, too.
If I could go back in time, I would wait to see Coco until they took that out.
Yeah.
Because that was the biggest waste of time ever.
Yeah.
And I had 2 children with me in the theater. And I wanted to get out of there as soon as I could because they won't hold still. So I don't want to spend an extra 20 minutes in the theater if I don't have to.
22 freaking minutes.
Jeez.
But yeah. So, out of 5 sugar skulls, what are you giving it?
3.5. Yeah, maybe possibly 4. Yeah. It was really good.
Now, you saw Coco, so what would you give it?
I would, if you guys are going to kill me for this, I would say 3. I don't think I would go as high as 3.5 or 4. 1, and maybe it's just because I'm pretty good at predicting plot points, but I thought that some of it was really predictable from the beginning.
Yeah.
And, but other than that, I loved it, especially the music. And I'm not like a music guy or anything, but it made me want to pick up the guitar for sure.
No, I was watching it just the other day when I was working, and I was watching like the boy's fingers as he was playing, and he's using like real guitar techniques.
Yeah,
it's like he has the middle finger folded over the first finger, so he can do like bar chords and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh
wow,
yeah,
that's some detail. That was awesome. But yeah, you're right. I know what you're talking about when you said with the plot now.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I called that too.
Because they made it too obvious for it to be real, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because I knew we were going to be talking about Christmas movies, I thought, well, there's a Christmas movie playing in my theater. It's Daddy's Home 2.
Christmas-esque movie.
It's Christmas adjacent.
It's not Christmas adjacent. It's
Christmas parallel.
It's Christmas full.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I
no
haven't
partial side Christmas for you.
No. I'm full frontal Christmas. Actually, that might be the name of the episode. Full frontal Christmas.
That's better. I like that better.
So I haven't seen the first Daddy's Home.
I have, and I actually thought it was it was funny.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I've seen the Everything Wrong With Daddy's Home on CinemaSins.
So you've basically seen it.
I got the gist.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'll go check this one out. So this one brings back, Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell, who are co-dads. Will Ferrell's the stepdad, and Mark Wahlberg is the real dad. And yeah, if you've seen it, you know the plot.
Yeah.
Well, this one introduces the dads. Mark Wahlberg's dad is played by Mel Gibson, who apparently we're now just letting back into film, and we're fine with it, but whatever. And then Will Ferrell's dad is played by John Lithgow.
Who you'll know from Third Rock from the Sun.
Third Rock from the Sun, yep.
Yeah. Well, and also Rise of the Planet of the Apes, but some of those other
that's
ones.
right, he was in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This movie is interesting because when I first started watching it, like I would say the first little over half, I was bored. Like, this isn't entertaining. Like, when everybody was getting along, everything was fine. Like, okay. Mel Gibson was, saying off-color things and laughing at Will Ferrell, like, every 10 seconds. Like, okay, let's move
Change it up
here.
a little bit. Yeah. Let's get to another plot point.
Because Will Ferrell's Jewish.
Yeah. I like it. That's a homer right there. That's when you get in your car and you're driving home and you're like, Will Ferrell's Jewish. But as the movie went on, I started to like it more and more. As, they started arguing again and started doing things to each other, and there were subplots with the kids and stuff. Then it got interesting, it got entertaining.
Right.
And I enjoyed it. And I actually found myself laughing out loud at certain parts. It was funny. So, here's okay, well, really quick, let me give you the plot. So we know that the dads come, they're having a together Christmas, all the families together, and Mel Gibson says, hey, I can rent this cabin, let's all go out and we'll have this great Christmas, and then hijinks.
Yeah.
So there you go. So the first half of the movie, I would give probably 1.5.
Oh, wow.
But the second half of the movie, I'm probably 2.5.
Well, I think they did a good job of not giving any of the second half of the movie away. Yeah. At least from the trailer, all it looks like is they finally get here and they stay at the house and they just kind of argue with each other. And
a lot of it's kind of a absurdist comedy, and it's Will Ferrell looking stupid and Mark Wahlberg rolling his eyes while Mel Gibson laughs at him, and but it's funny. It has its moments.
Okay, so where are you sitting at, overall? So combining those two,
overall, I guess I'd meet in the middle and say I'd give it 2.
Okay,
it's if you have nothing else to watch,
which we've kind of been in a lull until Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's where you Red Box or I don't know.
Okay.
Blackbearded if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now the one we're all dying to talk about.
Yes. That we've see as we've kind of gone to commercial, and as I'm editing stuff, it's we keep talking about Star Wars.
Yeah. Our conversations kind of always go back to Star Wars this episode.
So, okay. We've all seen The Last Jedi.
Yes.
So, we're going to keep this spoiler-free. But, here's what we're going to do. Oh, man. Sorry. After this, we're putting out another episode. Special episode. Never done this before.
Holiday special episode.
There you go.
Yeah.
The World War G holiday special. And
hopefully it goes better than Lucas's.
And we are going to do a spoiler full episode right after this one. So
stay tuned.
Stay tuned if you want to listen to it. Go ahead. If not, you can listen to our spoiler free review now. Overall, I had a couple issues with it, but overall, I really liked this movie.
Yeah. It did stay true to the Star Wars world. It didn't stray too far. It had some throwbacks, and yeah.
Throwbacks to both sets of trilogies that preceded it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that was the problem with The Force Awakens is
they shied away from the Phantom Menace and some of these other ones.
Yeah. It made it too much like the original trilogy, and then this one, I think they struck a perfect balance between the two.
Yeah. I mean, Luke says, and I don't believe this is spoiler, but he mentions the name Darth Sidious.
Right.
And that was never mentioned in the original trilogy. He was just known as the Emperor. And so that was a little bit of a callback to the prequels.
I liked it, yeah.
So, this movie takes place immediately, almost after
right
The Force
after.
Awakens.
They kind of pulled a James Bond, between I'm talking Daniel Craig.
Oh,
ones,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We had the Quantum Solace and then Casino Royale and then Quantum Solace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't, span it over years. This takes place immediately after. We see the rebellion going up against the First Order. You see, we see Poe again. He's with General Leia, doing missions and stuff like that. We see Rey. She's with Luke on the island.
Yeah. In training.
Mm-hmm. And then we see Finn, and he gets his own little subplot with Rose, a new character that we meet.
Which I could take or leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the issues I have. I almost talked about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it later.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, again, overall, I really enjoyed it. I even cried. I'll admit it.
Wept is more like it.
I wouldn't say wept. There were tears.
He had tears coming out of his face.
There were tears. There was some wetness.
Tears were shed.
Gold dice. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And there, but what you were saying was right. They took things in a different direction than other Star Wars films.
Yes.
Which I appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of people are liking. I think that's why it has such a low score on Rotten Tomatoes. It's uncomfortable. It's not that comfortable Star Wars that we all know and love.
Right.
But I like it, and I think it's a proper sequel to The Force Awakens. I absolutely love Rey. I love that character.
Yeah. She's growing on me. I really do. Yeah.
I think she's great. I love the fact that she comes from nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well, perhaps. Ooh.
Yeah, you almost.
I told you guys this was gonna be hard.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke was a
put your lightsaber away.
Luke was a farm boy on Tatooine. Comes from nowhere. Rey is a
slave.
Yeah, a scrapper from Jakku. Comes from nowhere, and I love that point of view. That it's
you can still make something of yourself.
Yeah,
you have
gives hope
potential.
to everyone in the
Yeah, you've got potential inside of you. You've got the Force inside of you.
Yeah, it's the scrappy little nobodies that make the difference. It's not these giant organizations and people with all the money and power and Disney. And
it's these little podcasts like ours.
That's right.
The geeks shall inherit the earth.
So, what should we give it? Out of 5?
Oh, man.
What do you think?
I'm giving it a 4. I don't care what you guys say.
I'm sitting about there, too.
It's not perfect, but I loved it.
Yeah, I would say I'm also at a 4.
Wow. I think that's the first time that's ever happened.
I think so, too.
Ding, 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 ding. Like the slot machine kind of a deal. 4.
Congratulations, you won the jackpot.
But out of 4 what?
Lightsabers, dude.
Porgs.
Yeah.
Let's do porgs.
Porgs.
Out of 4 porgs.
All right.
Like I said, I like the porgs.
That's the noise they make.
They were like seagulls. They were dumb animals, and they were just everywhere. They were
Yeah.
Okay, and
It
this
is difficult.
isn't a spoiler. One of the things I liked most about this film is a lot of the creatures were not CGI; they were practical effects.
Yes.
like Chewbacca, for example, or the Porgs in some scenes. You can tell they kind of, and that's how it's kind of a throwback to the original trilogy. Things kind of moved almost robotically.
Yeah.
You could tell that they weren't. I don't know. It just was kind of nice to see that.
Yeah.
Instead of it all being easily like computer generated.
And there were some
that does
some
seem like
CG
it is.
stuff in
It
there.
does seem like it's a cop out a little bit. You know that you've got the technology, so why not use it? But it's just like, but you can utilize other stuff, and there's fantastic, makeup artists.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
It doesn't detract from the film in any way.
No, it doesn't. So yeah, I mean, you've probably, if you're listening to this podcast, you've probably seen it.
But yeah,
like most of the world at this point.
And I'm gonna go see it again.
Me too.
Me too.
Yep.
For free.
I can't even get in free currently, and I'm still gonna go see it. So, what does that tell you? But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to episode 9 in a couple years. We got Han Solo coming in May.
And
So,
then
who knows?
Who knows? Yeah,
Boba Fett. Hopefully,
that would be sick. That's my hope.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that batted around.
Jar Jar Binks. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Misa, think no.
All right. So here's where you can listen to all of our episodes. You can listen to us at worldwarg.podbean.com. You can also find us on iTunes and the Google Play Store. Just search World War G. On the social media, you can find us at facebook.com/WorldWarG podcast. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram. Just search at WWG Podcast. You can find all of our shirts and merchandise for our logo designed by Logan. Logan? Why did I say Logan?
That's my name, duh.
Colton. Why did I say Logan?
Because I'm short and stocky like Wolverine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
That was weird. I had a senior moment there. At shop.spreadshirt.com/WorldWarG. You can also email us anytime.
Day or night.
At worldwgpodcast@gmail.com. So, this has been World War G episode 157. That has been AJ.
That has been Logan. I mean Troy. That has been Troy.
And this has been Colton.
Stay geeky, my friends, and may the Force be with you.